everyone. My name's Kyle. This will be the second video in my YouTube lecture series about interreligious undertones as to what everything is. So today I'm going to be talking about what we are. And if you haven't seen the first video on the meaning of life, I'd suggest going back, taking a look at that, just to help you get up to here, because we've now discussed what's the point of everything, and now we need to discuss what are we. So the creation story that I'm going to offer you for how we all started is going to be a little bit different from your standard creation story, so I'm hoping it excites you a little. It's from the Gnostic belief system, which basically intertwines some Hindu teachings with Christian teachings. So the Gnostic belief is that there was this god named Sophia, and she's representative of wisdom and higher understanding. And she ended up getting kicked out of the Gnostic heaven with all of these, non-physical gods at the time. And because she's by herself and kicked out of the rest of, heaven, or whatever you'd like to ascribe it, she decides that she wants to create, so she reaches inside of herself and tries to make a child. Now, keep in mind, she's assigned a gender, so this is ultimately going to be the fault in her practice, is, Brahma, or Brahman, could create from itself anything, because that would have no gender. The truest type of God would exist above a dual sense of male or female. So because she's female, she reaches inside of herself to create. She ends up having this mistake in the creation process where the child that she brings out is just absolutely mean and angry, and Sophia flashes through all of these emotions: fear, happiness, guilt, lament, anger, ashamed, and all of these emotions just fall out onto the ground, and that becomes the universe that you and I live in today. And this child that she has ends up growing up into this god that's then, in the Gnostic belief, ascribed the title of Yahweh, which is the Old Testament God, the angry God that's always upset. So she does this, and this idea that the universe is just a collection of different emotions shows up as well in Buddhist teachings. Now, the Buddha had described that there are these seeds inside of us, our store consciousness, and they can grow into watered seeds, so you can turn them into flowers. But not all of these emotions are good. Some of them are anger, some of them are happiness and sorrow and fear. And the store consciousness, the seeds that exist inside of you, are, as I studied economics in college, so we would refer to these as a stock variable, where the watered seeds would be a flow variable. So the reason that your store consciousness is a stock, or what's there, is because that's the emotional or conscious bedrock of you. Is you have the potential to be angry at any time or to be happy at any time. And it's up to you to realize that, hey, I'm watering this one seed when I really shouldn't be, and I should be focusing on another that I want to be flowering. And because of impermanence, the seeds aren't always in the same place at the same time, so you have the ability to change them and rearrange them as you want. However, you need to be practicing mindfulness to make this work. Otherwise, you can't just be saying, oh, I hope this works, I want this. You need to actually be observing and changing things and responding to the world. Now, here's a slight alternative creation story. This is from the Hermetic belief, which is this blending of Egyptian and Christian as well. More Greco than Christian, because it's based off of the Greek god Hermes. That's how it got the name. However, in the Egyptian religion, Hermes would be known as Thoth, the god who supposedly built the pyramids. And in Hermetic teachings, the creation was that the all, or the everything, created nature, and it created people, and they fell in love instantaneously, because there can't be an observer if there's not a place, and there really can't be a place if there's not an observer. Concept similar to there can't be a father without a son, there can't be a son without a father, there can't be an in without an out. So basically nature and humanity were these dualistic concepts that ended up existing because they answer kind of the question of, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, for that exact question to exist, we had to have had nature and people. So by blending them together, we allow questions like this to exist, so that way we, through Sophia's ultimate knowledge, can go about in this world. But if we're created by the world and we're fundamentally a part of it, we can't just individually exist. So if you look at a flower long enough, you'll see that it's not just petals, and it's not just a cardiovascular system moving nutrients, water, and chlorophyll about the plant. It's actually all of the clouds in the sky, the rain cycle, the phosphorus cycle, the dirt in the ground, all of the worms that move things, the fungi that break apart decomposing material to then turn it into soil, and it's the bees that fly around and cultivate it. So it's because of this that it follows along this Buddhist teaching, once again, that basically says there's 3 stages to observing reality. The first stage is everything is as it seems. So we would say, yes, this is a wall behind me, this is my face, this is up, this is down. However, the second stage of understanding in Buddhism would be that everything's not what it seems, because if it's all interconnected, then basically there can't be up and there can't be down if it's all just one thing. That would require relative location. And then the third step of understanding would be that everything is what it is, in part because it can't be itself. For example, when we see the color black, if you're wearing a black shirt in the summertime and stand outside, you're going to get warmer than someone who's standing outside in a white t-shirt, because the black is actually all of the different colors in the spectrum put together, and it's all absorbed there, where the white is none of them and absorbs none. However, we don't call black omnicolored, we call it black. And it's in this similar principle that we can have a flower be everything else, and because of that, we can call it a flower, or the 3 different stages of perception, which also mirror the chakra system in the body. So when you go from the root to the solar plexus, if you were to give a mantra to each one, it would be, I am, I feel, I do. So that's all based around the external world. I am something, I'm feeling something out here, I'm doing something with the outside world. And then when you go from the heart to the throat to the third eye, those are all internal. So their mantras would be, I love, I speak, I see. Those are all, internal things. Although, you see the outside world, to actually see it, the mechanism inside of you has to be working. And then your crown chakra, the 7th, is I understand. That's the mantra for it, which combines both, because the truest love is understanding. It combines who you are with where you are and why you're doing it. And that's why if you really love someone, you accept the possibility that you may not get what you want, but it benefits the other person, because you understand who you are with who they are, with where you are in the situation. And it brings to mind this quote by the post-hardcore band La Dispute, which says, if I can't love you as a lover, then I'll love you as a friend. So tying this back into the first video in this lecture series, where I said it's ultimately our duty to love and care about everyone else, that's because we are love, compassion, and empathy for everything else, manifesting itself through every physical and non-physical being. Thank you.